Hi everyone, welcome back to another Team Mallet video. Today me and Perry are going to teach you how to warm up like a pro. Okay, so the way we like to structure the warm up is put it into different sections. The first section is going to be the stretching element. This can be dynamic stretches or static stretches depending on how much you need to do before a match. Perry's going to demonstrate the first exercise.
Starting off with a glute stretch, the classic 90-90. I'm sure a lot of you would have seen this exercise before. It's a nice way to stretch out the glutes, get them limbered up, and work around that hip capsule joint, making sure that chest goes over that knee in different directions, because then you get a nice stretch across the hip in different angles.
Okay, and then the next one, we move on to lower back, a bit lower spine. These are called scorpions. Try and keep both shoulders in contact with the floor. In squash, we do a lot of twisting motion when we lunge and reach for the ball, so getting that spine nice and limbered up is very key.
Now moving on to a lunge type position with a thoracic rotation. Good way to get the adductors warmed up along with the hamstrings and the mid back. You can do as many repetitions as you want of these, it's really up to you. This is one of my favourite exercises here to really isolate the mid part of the back. These thoracic rotations can be done from 6 to 8 reps per side, and it's a nice way to get the back moving in that twisting motions ready for the game. This one I like to call ankle flossing. You're just bending that knee forward and backwards over the toe, trying to keep that heel in contact with the ground. Ankle mobility is really key in squash actually for getting into good lunge positions and holding your weight. And again, you need to stretch those Achilles and calves out. Then we have another good dynamic stretch where we're switching from a hamstring reach into a squat. Reaching down, pull yourself into a squat and back up. Nice way to get the hamstrings and the hips and adductors all stretched out together and just keep working at range of motion. These next two exercises are an absolute staple in my warm-up specifically. I always make sure to get my shoulders warm. I used to struggle a little bit with a dodgy right shoulder when I was younger, so mobilizing it properly and then strengthening it up with these banded rotations for the rotator cuff is really key. We do a lot of hitting with the squash ball in a match, so getting those warm is really important. Once you've finished all of your mobility-based exercises to start, we then like to get into what's called a pulse raiser. This can be anything from using a stationary bike for 5 to 10 minutes, or it could be jogging up and down on the squash court with different variations of movements, so like running forwards and backwards, side steps, heel flicks, whatever you want. Basically just anything that's going to get your heart rate nicely raised up. Anywhere above 130 beats per minute is a good starting point. I like to do this on court, these exercises for at least 5 minutes, especially jogging up and down. It's a nice way to get the blood flowing across the whole body, and then you can do some more specific movements like these ones where you're getting those high knees up.
Now that we've finished the dynamic flexibility warm-up, we then head into some activation exercises. This is where we're going to get the muscles nicely fired up, ready to meet the demands of the movements in the game.
Starting off with the bridge, you can do these both legs together or single leg. I like to use the single leg variations because it gets that stability within one leg at a time whilst trying to support your body weight and driving that knee up. I tend to do 6 to 8 reps per leg on this exercise. Any less, you're probably not getting enough stimulus, and you don't want to be doing too many more because you're not trying to fatigue your body, you're just trying to get it primed and ready to play. You can always overdo things like this, so just be careful. This exercise I would really recommend to pretty much everyone out there. We're isolating the adductors. In squash, I see so many people suffer with adductor pulls and little tears within matches just because A, they're either not strong enough, or B, they don't warm up them properly. So these lying straight ones are a great way to get that muscle fired up properly, get that blood flow into the area, so when you get into those lunge movement patterns, you're ready straight away. Like the adductors, the glutes can be susceptible to little pulls as well, so adding these into your warm-ups is important. You can even do them with a resistance band as well if you want some more resistance on the glute area. Here we have the single leg RDL. This is purely isolating the hamstring area. You can do these with both legs together at the same time, where you're just hinging forwards, or you can do it on a single leg basis. This just adds in the balance element to it, which is quite key in squash. So you're getting the hamstrings working together as long with your balance. Now this is more of a dynamic one. You're actually kind of bouncing in that lunge position, getting used to absorbing the force when you're moving at speed back down into a lunge. Again, 10 to 20 reps per side is enough. Side squats, another great lunge variation. These are commonly used across the T-line when you're trying to cut balls off around the middle of the court or on the volley. So practicing getting low, reaching across is a nice way to get that movement warmed up and ready to go.
Okay, so straight after the activation, we're going to go into the plyometric warm-up. So that basically gets the nervous system firing and gets you to those quick split steps ready for a match.
First plyometric exercise we like to start off with are pogo jumps. You're trying to hit the ground fast, jump up high, get those calves and ankles ready to be explosive when you're moving off the tee in a match. And now you can move on to the single leg variation of it with the same concept. You don't want to be doing more than 10 to 15 reps per leg on these, so keep them quite short and snappy and be explosive as possible. Line hops, these are lateral ones. This is all about moving the foot as quick as possible over the line, trying to hit that again, quick ground contact time, being as quick as possible, because those split step movements we make in a match have to be rapid, so practicing going forward, backwards and sideways is really key. This one's similar to the lunge jumps we did earlier, but this is with the rotation and with the leg switching. Again, you're trying to control the downward force that you make when you come back down into the lunge. Anywhere between 6 to 12 reps per leg is enough, and between 1 and 2 sets is fine. Sometimes you may need to warm up for a bit longer, so doing the extra reps might just help you be that bit more warm. This one is a hop to sprint. It's like that split step in motion we make to get to the front of the court. You're hopping back and then sprinting as quick as you can to the front wall. And not enough people do these exercises before a game, and they're not ready to move as quickly as they can into the front by the time the match starts.
And then lastly, we move into the ghosting movements. These are going to be very specific to how you're going to play in a match.
Now, the idea with these ghost movements is to make it as specific as possible to the way you would move in a match. Like properly get into positions where you're being forced to get low, or you're forced into twist or sprint through the court, are really important. Too many people ghost and it's not that specific to a game. You can focus on doing one area at a time, or you can just use the whole of the court. It's up to you. It might also depend on the space you have, whether you're at a tournament or a team match or a league game, whatever it is. You might only have a limited space, so you could even do small little ghost movements just in the small area you have. But if you have a court, I'd recommend using the whole of it. Just much easier to mimic them, those movements you would make. And then you don't want to be doing it for too long. Like anything like short and sharp that's really going to get your heart rate right up there is enough. So like anywhere between 15 and 30 seconds and a few sets of that is plenty.
And that's the end of the warm-up. Hopefully you guys found that really useful. Obviously you don't need to do all the exercises that we stated, and there are plenty more that you can do, but they're just a few that we like to do before the matches, get us feeling nice and sharp. So if you like the video, please leave a comment, leave a like, and please subscribe. We're trying hard here at Team Malik to make content like this for you. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, and see you on the next video.